last time I was on with you, we had a long conversation about coffee and cold brew. I brought it
Yeah.
back. We're running it back. I'm candidly a little disappointed. It took, honestly, like a couple months for an invite. I thought it was me, but then I realized that you guys just load up on amazing guests. So the fact that I'm even in the mix, I'm thrilled. Good to see you guys
Okay,
again.
our first question was going to be whether or not you were ready for the day with your jet black coffee. So I'm excited that you just got ahead of us on that one.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pack in Action. I'm Ashtyn Butuso, and with me is Emma Weightman. We have got a great one for you today, folks. As always, though, catch us on Amazon Prime Video, Samsung TV Plus, Channel 2392, and of course, the Pac-12 Conference YouTube. And share us with a friend who maybe needs some other friends, you know?
Yeah, we're
Sharing
here
is
for
caring.
friends. Sharing
Yeah.
is caring. We love having friends so much so that we brought our friend Mike Yam on the show, our first repeat guest. It was so fun. We talk about the season that was, Cougs, Beavs, his Heisman vote, which is incredibly exciting. He kind of gave us some insight on how that process works, and his new show coming to Pac-12 platforms. He says that we're teammates, which just I love because it brings me right back to my playing days, my athlete era, if you will.
Right, yeah, you were a huge star at, what sport was that again?
At yeah. That's the one that I was.
Yeah, that seems real.
I mean, it was. Speaking of athletes, athleisure wear, I couldn't help but notice, I just feel like I was blinded by your beautiful velour tracksuit. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a velour tracksuit.
I was right.
Yeah.
Can we do a little fit check?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I'm working with right now. And if I could be extremely honest and candid, these are pajamas. I'm in my pajamas. Yeah. We're recording at a different time than we anticipated, and for that reason I am in a full pajama set. Yeah. How about you? What are you wearing? Let's get a fit check from you, please.
Oh yeah.
It's only fair.
Well, so I'm going to need everybody to lower their velour expectations. This is a bodysuit that I bought at Fred Meyer.
Not the Fred Meyer bodysuit.
I'm a bargain shopper. So much so about the bargain shopping that I've paired it with these Target athletic shorts that I use I wear them when I dye my hair. So
sure.
Yeah, they have spots of hair dye all over them. And we're not going to talk about that if we slow it down and cut it back. So.
Okay, well, luckily we feel better than we're looking right now, especially, at least I should say, when it comes to men's hoops. Maybe not so much women's.
We're going to have to talk about it at some point, but today is maybe not that day. We're just really holding space for them to do better.
We want to be more celebratory about women's hoops, and we're just not really in a place where that's going to be the case for either team right now. So we'll circle back next week, brighter days next week.
Yeah, when they win a ton.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen. It's right down the line.
Yes. And for now, transitioning into men's hoops for the Beavs specifically, I just want to say that it's been a good stretch of games. It's been nice to watch the defensive identity form itself. Among the 355 Division I teams, the Beavs are 7th in scoring defense at 51.8 points per game, 14th in field goal defense at 36.6%, and tied for 17th in block shots at 5.6 per game.
I love when you talk stats.
I know, right? So that's very exciting. And Michael Rataj continues to impress everyone. He's, as Nate Kings put it, he's sort of their leader. He's who we look to. He's doing a great job. Parsifala, who we have to get on the show soon. Every time we put in our requests, I'm like, Parsifala, and it hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. He's having a great year too. My only regrets are those 2 losses, Oregon and North Texas back-to-back. The Oregon one specifically haunts me. But I was reading an Oregon Live, a Nick Daschel piece in Oregon Live, and he mentioned that Parsa said following those games, the practice was so brutal and intense that it was just not fun, and that's what made the succeeding game after that fun, because the practice was so unfun, which gives me confidence that they can sort of get back on the horse after a loss. So yeah, this weekend, both men's and women's hoops will face UC Irvine, which we're very excited to watch. I'm excited for a weekend to be fully dedicated to hoops and not have football stealing its thunder.
That is how we like it.
Mhm.
I'm putting Parsifala on little guy watch for you. I think he's going to be your basketball little guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of
Good
seeing.
call. Yeah,
Thank you.
That makes sense.
Speaking of my little guys, we are crushing it as well. I have to say, I have to brag, have to give them some accolades here. Of course, Cougs beat Boise State on Saturday, which was huge, 74-69, at another neutral site that was alarmingly close to the Boise State campus, but not mad about it. Our defense was great. They held Boise State to 36.8 inside and 17.6 from three, which is really impressive, I think. Both of the Watts guys, no relation, had fantastic games. Future friend of the show, Nate Kalamese, killed it. He's getting like over 15 points a game. So really thrilled at that development. And we're not even fully healthy yet, which actually brings me to another friend of our show and a friend of mine from CougCenter, Nate Dahl, who wrote in one of our pieces, this year's WSU team, which was left depleted after a run to the big dance last year, is flat out good, and they're not even fully healthy. And I could not have said it better myself. So just really concurring with that. And shout out Nate.
Shout out Nate. And we need to do a very explicit investigation into why there are so many Nates around the show. Nate Kings is rounding out that trio there.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine we'll have some more Nates at some point.
Oh, yeah, I think so. But I think you also had another call to action that you needed to express.
Okay. I just gotta show a little tough love here really quick because we need we need our women's teams to pick it up. We want to report happy stuff. We want to celebrate you. We want to be talking about you. Please, this is tough love. We love you so much. Let's get some dubs. Let's climb our way up the rankings. Let's just like do the damn thing.
I'm thinking it's going to happen, especially after this. But when we come back, we are talking to Mike Yam.
Welcome back to Pack in Action. We are so excited to have our old friend Mike Yam back with us for the second time this season. Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Last time I was on with you, we had a long conversation about coffee and cold brew. I brought it back. We're running it back. I'm candidly a little disappointed. It took, honestly, like a couple months for an invite. I thought it was me, but then I realized that you guys just load up on amazing guests. So the fact that I'm even in the mix, I'm thrilled. Good to see you guys.
Okay,
again.
our first question was going to be whether or not you were ready for the day with your jet black coffee. So I'm excited that you just got ahead of us on that one.
I'm not drinking iced coffee, but that's, that's my journey.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid that. I'm getting PTSD thinking about shoveling snow for $10 and doing the neighbors' driveways. From back in the day.
That's so cute. Okay, well, let's get into sort of a season recap. I mean, looking back at 2024, it came and gone. It's come and gone now. Thanks again for sort of looking back with us. Obviously, we want to talk Cougs and Beavs. What's your sort of feel on the entire season? If you could sum it up quickly, there's so much, but.
Yeah, there was so, Ashtyn, it was in a lot of ways just an unbelievable season because there was so much uncertainty around the future of the conference one, what was going to happen with Washington State and Oregon State. And if you and I were having this conversation with Emma, a couple months ago, there was so much. That uncertainty, I think, was so heavy for a lot of, the student athletes, certainly the administrators, and I think alumni bases that just wanted to know what's the direction. And then you fast forward a few months to present day and you go, hey, it's a rebuild and we're back, right? Like we got an insertion of really quality teams, including a squad like Boise State, who we're going to see in the college football playoff. Like there's a lot of wins that we continue to stack out on the West Coast for the Pac-12. But I would say, at least from an individual standpoint, I was candidly a little disappointed as I see some of the Cougs, signage in the background for Emma on how the season had played out. This was a team knocking on the door for a college football playoff, and to see the collapse at the end was a little disheartening. And, last time I came on with you guys, I was talking about starting a new role with the CW and the fact that I got to work with a bunch of former Cougs on that set, and every single week, the what ifs and those conversations off air, you could feel it. They knew that there was an opportunity that they let slip by.
So is there something to attribute that to? Like what happened?
defensively, there was a lot of issues down the stretch, and that wasn't necessarily the case earlier this season, and candidly a little surprising because of the identity of this team under Jake Dickert and what he's meant. And then candidly, just some execution issues down the stretch in a lot of these games. They were close games where, the ball just didn't go their way, or they didn't execute in a timely, manner. And to me, those were, it's the bad breaks, right? It's as programs are trying to figure out how to win and how to survive. Sometimes you need to understand what it takes to win. And I think these are unfortunately tougher lessons for Washington State fan base, but hopefully for next season and future seasons, they'll be better for it.
You summed it up so well. Welcome to being a Coug. That's how it is. You're locked in for life now. You're ready.
I didn't want to use the phrase they Couged it. Only because I've heard I feel like it's a derogatory thing. So I like held back on pulling those words, but I've heard that before. I don't like going there, though.
Yeah,
it's okay.
We got to reclaim that next year. We've talked about a sort of a 3-year plan for the conference in general. So I think similarly, it's a 3-year plan to reclaim the phrase "they Couged it."
Perfect. I legally can't agree, but I love the energy. I think that's fun.
How about we talk some positives? What was your biggest surprise of this year?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily let me rephrase. Matier and his play wasn't a surprise because I thought he was one of the more talented quarterbacks in the country. I think the level of his play, I thought he'd play well. I didn't know he'd play as well as he did. The total touchdowns, and I think, that stat alone and being one of the leaders in the country, I think he might have even finished as number one in that position by the end of the season. But his ability on multiple arm angles and to sling it with the velocity that he does, it was impressive. I didn't necessarily know, but I think to see him execute at that level, and then the quickness out on the football field. I had asked a couple of the guys that I work with, hey, give me the comp. And I got some decent ones that are out there. I'll give you the one that I initially saw when I was watching. But he looked like Kyler Murray at times.
Wow.
His ability to kind of just get, through traffic, be slippery out on that football field, show some bursts of speed, to me, screams one of the bigger surprises for me individually as I watch some of these games. When you look at his game and what the NFL is now, I actually think Matier's got a real opportunity, especially just the amount of attention that he got. And depending on where he plays next season, earmuffs, Emma, because I don't know if it's going to be in a Washington State uniform. And I hope to God that it is, because I think now we're talking about a changing landscape with NIL and the transfer portal. And who knows, to me, he's going to have a real opportunity to play on Sundays just because of style of play and what we're seeing now on Sundays.
Well, we need you to plug something here quickly. Yeah. You have a show coming out. You're starting next week?
So next week is show number 1, the All Ball podcast, video form. We're still working on that, but super thrilled. Oregon State alum, current Trailblazers TV analyst Lamar Hurd. The two of us get to run it back. We spent a lot of years together in studio. Doing a lot of stuff for Pac-12 Network on the college basketball side. He's obviously on the NBA side. I'm in our NFL Network studios, one of them right now. So we're going to lean into sort of our current roles, dip into a little college basketball as well. Certainly thrilled to be on Pac-12 Insider. Obviously, we're now teammates because we're going to be doing a show on the same platform. So really looking forward to working with Lamar, who is truly one of the best human beings I've ever been around. And if you would have said, hey, get to pick a person to work with, he's number 1 on the list. So we're both really excited.
Yeah. God bless Lamar. Love him.
He's the best.
Well, we appreciate you being here so much. Crossover episode?
Yes. Done and done. We'll get it going. I love it.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Mike.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys having me.
Welcome back to the show. How great is Mike Yam, Emma?
Oh, he's the best. That was so fun.
Best. Whenever we slate our time with him, we are always anticipating 10 minutes or whatever a typical interview is, and then we're like, why don't we just give him the whole show?
Just hand it over.
He can have it.
Yeah.
Not that he needs it, because as he mentioned, he will have the All Ball podcast starting next week, apparently, with Lamar Hurd.
So exciting.
So
crossover
exciting,
episode.
crossover episode. You guys heard him. That is legally binding. So yes, we will be seeing more of Mike Yam around these parts. Emma, let's talk. Looking forward to this next week or this weekend.
Yeah. Cougs got a full docket, I would say. So kicking things off tomorrow, Friday the 13th, scary. Our women's team plays BYU. Really scary.
Double scary.
They're pretty good. And then Saturday, 2 p.m., men play Missouri State. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be really fun to watch. And then on Sunday, our women's team is back at it playing St. Martin's. Sunday is technically, legally speaking, my birthday. So I would love for them to win just for like a little birthday gift to me.
Please, Emma deserves this. Please, for the love of God, give her the best birthday she's ever had.
Yeah.
Okay, at the same time that the Cougs men are playing on Saturday, the Beavs men are playing on Saturday, the 14th at 2 p.m. And then the women are playing on Sunday, the 15th at 1 p.m. And both teams will be facing the UC Irvine Anteaters.
Hey,
so
and
let's go.
Beav women, because I am a fan of you as well. Again, make it really doubleheader. Best birthday ever with a win. That'd be fun.
Imagine a show coming off of like a great week for women's basketball. We just get to talk women's hoops. That's our dream.
That's our dream. And that's what we're manifesting. So, but speaking of our next show, we are going to dive more into hoops. Which one? We don't know yet. And as we get closer to the conference schedule, I cannot believe that we are not in conference play yet. How has that not started?
It's so wild that games are happening, but they're also not happening simultaneously, and somehow we're still not in conference play, which is
soon.
Very strange. We'll also be talking CFB playoff predictions. That's right. We'll be doing the classic talk radio stuff here on Pack in Action. We're going to get a couple guys on the phone. Maybe Bob from Toledo gives us a call, that kind of vibe. Expect that.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, Yam wasn't allowed to say who's winning the Heisman, but Ashtyn, who do you think is winning the Heisman? Ashtyn.
Yes, exactly. Ashtyn is winning the Heisman. He is my pick. And actually, that's not even, he is who I think should win, but I do think they're going to choose Travis Hunter because of politics, and I'll be throwing my TV out the window when that happens.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens there. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week when we're Pack in Action.